New flashing signal lights are popping up in several parts around Manchester and other towns as a way to warn motorists that they are about to encounter a pedestrian crosswalk. They use fairly new wireless technology, powered by a solar panel at the top of the pole. It's a better way to capture the attention of drivers of cars and other vehicles who might not be expecting a crosswalk, particularly one located outside of a town center, explained John O'Keefe, Manchester's town manager.
Crosswalks, we can't put crosswalks everywhere. We have to go through a process in order to put them in. You have to get an engineer to sign off on them for liability reasons. And a couple things we look at is, how often the crosswalks used, and also sighted distance. So you can see here, going in the south direction and also the north direction, there's really good visibility here. You can see back probably about, a couple hundred feet in either direction. So that's one thing that you look at. Obviously, you don't want to put a crosswalk on a blind curve, so that's where you put crosswalks. And then inside the crosswalk discussion, there's different options for controlling pedestrian and traffic flow. The old one is the push button where you have those signals turn red, and that's mostly at a signalized intersection, and then pedestrians can move back and forth. So what happens here is there's battery power in here, and when you push the button, it sends a signal back and forth, and both of these lights flash very, very, almost violently, I would say. Rapid flashing is what they're called. Bright yellow flashing to alert drivers that pedestrians are going to be entering the crosswalk. So you want to put these on areas that, like up further north on Barnumville, we put one there because it's an area where people are going from 45 miles an hour to 35 to 25. So you're entering a low-speed area from a high-speed area, and it's right on the outskirts of town, where it's literally the first crosswalk going back. I guess the next crosswalk you'd find is in East Dorset or Wallingford, I guess. You got to go pretty far back to find another crosswalk. And then this one, we put one here because there's so much traffic going from MEMS to the library after school. It's, you're looking at areas that have vulnerable populations like young kids, the elderly, disabled. So in this case, there was a vulnerable population that uses this a lot. The MEMS students that go to the library, which are typically 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders.
That point of view was supported by Rebecca Ventola, the Manchester Community Library's Youth Services librarian.
Happy to see when the crosswalk was put up and the lights. We have quite a few students and even preschool students that attend my story times on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, and they walk here in groups, and the teachers have to get them across safely. And I think this is a wonderful addition to the crosswalk, having the lights. Many people don't realize, they think their children are mature enough to cross roads. At age 10, parents start letting their children cross roads, but what they don't realize is psychosocially, children are not quite developed enough yet to cut out all of the other things going on in the environment just to focus on crossing the street.
Manchester has several crosswalks in place, both in the approaches to town and at the busy roundabout intersection. More are planned as the Depot Street project rolls out.
We'll have an existing crosswalk at Cottage Street that will actually, I believe it has one of these devices there. And then going down, we'll have a new crosswalk on the west side of the intersection of Riverside Heights and Depot Street, sort of between All Things Vermont and Sotheby's. And then the Price Chopper crosswalk will move further down. Right now it's kind of in the curb cut. It's kind of a goofy location. It'll move further down, so it's more in the middle of the Mac property, and coming across to the VFW, because right now the crosswalk is sort of shared by the curb cut for Price Chopper. Then we'll have a new one that I think is going to be really busy, down between Discount Beverage and the shopping plaza.
O'Keefe explained how the crosswalk at the smaller roundabout at the intersection of Main and Bonnet Street came to be.
It actually comes down to federal highway designs. There's really specific designs for crosswalks. Deviating beyond those becomes a problem just liability-wise. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're always in the best place. Those ones are a little bit set back, and I think that those are designed so that you can get one car between the roundabout and the crosswalk so traffic can continue to go around the roundabout until you get two cars stacked up there for a crossing. Those ones do not have anything like this, obviously, because crosswalks or roundabouts are specifically designed to positively influence pedestrian flow. You actually do not want these on every crosswalk, because people start to, like, if we had these on every single crosswalk in the United States or in Manchester, people would start tuning them out altogether. They are supposed to sort of, like, not surprise drivers, but drivers are supposed to be a little uncomfortable with them when the lights go off.
Another may be in the works in Arlington, when a long planned for and anticipated sidewalk project begins. A crosswalk will be installed near the Arlington end to allow pedestrians to cross over from one side of Route 7A to the other, to help facilitate foot traffic going to and from the town's recreation park. So these flashing lights may start becoming more familiar, and if you see them flashing, slow all the way down until the pedestrian is fully across to the other side. For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.